This is my 2010 Peugeot RCZ HTI. There's one thing that I've been really annoyed about since I bought the car, and that is the interior. The only problem I find is, I think it's a little bit too dark in here. So I called up my mate Andy, who deals in RCZ parts. We made a deal, and now I'm gonna go and fit this beautiful interior into this car to make the interior just pop. So let's get in the car and let's get to Andy's right now. So I've just got to Andy's and he's nicely got all the seats out for me. And this is the interior I will be putting in. It's in this gorgeous elephant grey, and I think it'll make the interior looks really nice. Now it probably does need a really good detail. There is a little tiny hole just here, but I'll get Eliana to sort that because she's really good with leather. So let's get cracking on with getting this interior in the car. So the first thing you want to do, you want to make sure all your doors and windows are open. You want to pop the bonnet and you want to pop the boot as well, because we're going to be disconnecting the battery. The next thing you want to do is put the seats all the way forward so we can get access to these E12 bolts at the back. So that's what I'm going to take out first. Once you've done that, put your ignition back on, and then you want to slide the seats all the way back. And now you've got access to these bolts. Next, tip the seat back, and this will give you access to this connector here. Before I do that, I'm going to do the other seat. So next thing we need to do is disconnect the battery, because I don't want this car thinking it's got an airbag fault. Okay, so take your cover off and disconnect the positive. Okay, so now it's free. If you kind of tip it up in this kind of way, it gives you much easier access to this plug here. Pressing a nib at the top, pull that down and push that out like that, and that should be free now. I should be able to take it out. But these are very heavy, so you might need someone to help you, but I'm going to give it a go myself. And there you go, straight out. And I did forget to take this off, but with my brute strength I've kind of ripped it off anyway. Yeah, this is what you're supposed to take out before you do that. So before you take the seat out, you get your tool like this, and there you go, you just pop it out. And by the way, I didn't break it, it just slots back in there just like that, so you can just put it back in again. I think now we're in this position, it's probably a good idea to clear a bit of this mess out as well. I thought, while I've got all this space here, probably a good idea to swap this over, the armrest. I'm going to show you how to do that now. What you can do is lift it up, and then inside here I've got a little plastic trim that you just pop out like that. And then what you want is a T20. This goes in there. And these are literally hand tight, so you don't even need to use a screwdriver to get them out. I think I'll be tightening these up. Next, you want to come to the back of the armrest and then pop that off. And then this one, I'm going to get into here and pop that off. And then that literally slides out. And in with a new one. That slides into there. Then this holds it in place. And then this goes back into here. Now we lift this. Now I need to put these screws in now. And this time, these ain't going to be finger tight, I assure you. Not forgetting, of course, this little insert which goes in diagonally. And there you have it. One working armrest in this beautiful elephant grey. Right, I'm now going to take this seat out. So on the passenger side there seems to be another clip here which I didn't see before. Nice McDonald's chip there as well. So again, just popping it out like that. And out she comes. Right, so that's the next seat out. I think I'm going to get rid of some of this rubbish. And now I've changed of plan. I think I'm going to do the back seats, because they're going to be harder to get out if the seats are in the way. So the first thing I'm going to do, undo the seat belts and put them in their position just up here like that. Same here. So these will now be out of the way. The next thing is going to be the bench. Now these are normally really tight. You've just got to pull up with all your might. Now I've done mine before, so mine should be a lot easier to pull out. Kind of pull it out and towards you like that. Next thing we're going to do is these are just like your headrest covers, so these should pull off like that. See, they've just got 2 clamps here, same on this side, just like that. Next you've got these side supports here. Now these can break, so just try and be gentle. And these are what the back looks like. Can you see there? One broke in the past, but it still goes on fine. Next one, same at this side. There we go. And that is another one out. It did break slightly, but it's still firm. So now we've got to release this, and we do that through the boot. This is why I told you to leave the boot unlatched, because we haven't got no battery connected. Now here is a red latch. You pull that like that, and that should drop down now. Okay, now this has dropped down. Now I've got all my amp in the back here. So the next thing we need to do, we need to undo these 2 and these 2 for the bench to come away. This is the 1/2 inch hex. Time for the rear bench, I think. Next, all the trims on the back. Make sure it lines up. And that's where my battery ran out. But you can imagine how easy it was to put those trims back in. Okay, so now we're going on to the door cars. The first thing you need to do is to take this off. Loads of people ask me how to do this, so I'm going to show you now. First, in the very bottom corner, you'll see a tiny little notch for a screwdriver. What we're going to do is just pop that out. Once that's popped out, come to the top and get like a hook or something and kind of pop that out, and then you'll kind of just go along here, and then that comes off and reveals these screws here. There's one here, one at the bottom, and these are T20s. Next we're going to move to below the door card, switch to a T30 this time. Next we're going to pop these off. This tool's really good. If you hook it in, you can pull it out from the bottom, and then we can lift this off. And if you're really unlucky like me, you'll break every single one. But I'm sure you can pick these up. They are 15 years old and it is what it is. Right, let's get these connectors off. Now on with the new one. Now luckily for me, Andy managed to get all this off without breaking any of the clips. First, connectors need to go back where they went before. Now another thing that breaks on these is the plastic part here which clips into there. This is broken, there's nothing I can do about it. But if it does break, what you can do, it still kind of wedges in there with the force of the rubber. So you might be alright, but I will be gluing that in I think at some point. And then back on with this. To the bottom. And then it should just clip in. One door card installed, and then it was on to the other door card. Now something different on the passenger side notice is this module lives in there and you just kind of pop it up. The driver's side didn't have that, and obviously this side's different. I'm going to push this up and out like I did the other one, but apart from that it looks like someone's had this off before because all my sound deadening's gone. But I did have the regulator replaced under warranty, so that's probably why. Okay, now it's time to reconnect the battery so I can put the bolts back in at the front and the back of the seat. So here goes. Let's start her up. There's the clock going. Love that. So that is working. So let's put it all the way back, the seat. And then we've just got to put these bolts in here. What I'm going to do as well is put the heated seat on to make sure that's working. Okay, now put this to the full frontal position. Okay, we're going to tighten these up. Tight, that's tight. Now to the other side, put this all the way to the front, put the heated seat on, make sure that that's working. Another little cool feature, it's got the JBL badges on, which weirdly also matches my sub in the boot. I know they're not JBL speakers there, but it's something nice to have, isn't it? Okay guys, so the interior is fitted. I am super over the moon with it. I've checked everything works. There's no airbag lights, the heated seats work, the electric seats work with no warning messages on the dash at all. So let me show you my new interior. And there you have it guys, I'm super happy with it. It's going to need a clean and maybe a little bit of repair, but it's going to look sensational in the summer, and I'll show you the end result with that. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.